Buddha said, "The world is full of suffering. Just as the root of suffering is attachment, the removal of suffering is the elimination of attachment." The world you relate to is created by the mind. Only you can make yourself happy. And all present moments are so because you are in them. And today, in the eternal present, in the here and now, you will be happy even if today this or that accompanies you. And you will be able to go from one moment to another in life, enjoying it fully, without carrying emotional burdens of the past. And like the lilies of the field and the birds of the sky, you will be free of worries, always living the eternal present. Detachment could be defined as a lack of thirst. Think of the mood of a person who is desperate for thirst, and the mood of someone who is not thirsty. Mentally observe the difference. In which do you see peace, tranquility, and security, and in which do you see the opposite? Now observe the world, the unhappiness around you and within you. What causes it? The economic situation, unemployment, wars, loneliness, you will say. But if you look closely, you'll see that it's none of those things, because if that were solved, other issues would appear that would continue to cause unhappiness.
What is it then?
Well, it is that you carry that unhappiness with you wherever you go. That unhappiness is in you, and you cannot escape from it. It is in your programming, in your brain computer. They are your beliefs. Those that seem so logical to you that you don't even know that they tyrannize and enslave you. Your mind does not stop producing unhappiness. Now, if you analyze it, you will see that there is only one thing that causes unhappiness, and is attachment. And what is attachment, will you ask me? Attachment is an emotional state of compulsive bonding to a certain thing or person caused by the belief that without that thing or person, it is not possible to be happy. Your mind says, you can't be happy if you don't have such and such a thing, or if such a person is not with you. You cannot be happy if such and such person does not love you. You can't be happy if you don't have a secure job. You can't be happy if you don't secure your future. You cannot be happy if you are alone. You can't be happy if you don't have a fashionable body. You can't be happy if others act like that. And how many more can't you be happy if? Your mind is programmed to constantly prove to you, if not one thing then another, that you can't be happy, and all of that is false. All that is false. You are happy here and now, but you don't know it, because your false beliefs and your distorted way of seeing things have filled you with fears, of worries, of onus, of conflicts, of guilt. If you could see through all that tangle, you would see that you are happy and you don't know it. There is not a single moment in your life in which you do not have everything you need to be happy with capital letters. All the things you are attached to and without which you are convinced you cannot be happy are precisely your reasons for anguish. What makes you happy or not is not the situation around you, but the thoughts in your mind. Attachment is an emotional state that has two extremes, one positive and the other negative. The positive one is the state of pleasure and the emotion you feel when you achieve what you are attached to. The negative is the sense of threat and the accompanying tension which makes you vulnerable to emotional turmoil and constantly threatens to shatter your peace. Take a good look. If the object of attachment is not achieved, it causes unhappiness. And if it is achieved, it produces only an instant of pleasure followed by worry and fear of losing it. Can we win the battle against attachments? Yes, by renouncing them, by changing our programming. Make a list of everything that has you attached and say to each one, I am not really attached to you at all. I'm just fooling myself into believing that without you I can't be happy. And if your attachment refers to a person, say, I let you be yourself, let you have your own thoughts, let you satisfy your own tastes, let you follow your own inclinations, let you behave. As you choose to behave, I release you with love, and I release myself with love. You are now in a position to love that person. Why? Because to love is not to want. What you want to possess. When you want someone for yourself, you are only putting a chain around their neck and you are tying yourself on the other side. Love can only exist in freedom. Choose between attachment and happiness. What you need is not to give up, but to understand, to become aware. If your attachments have caused you suffering, that is a great help to understand. And if you have ever experienced the feeling of freedom, it will be useful to remember it. Erase in you that of how happy you make me and that of this makes me happy. Only you can make yourself happy, and all present moments are so because you are in them. And today, the eternal present, the here and now, you will be happy even if today this or that accompanies you. And you will be able to go from one moment to another in life, enjoying it fully, without carrying emotional burdens of the past. And like the lilies of the field and the birds of the sky, you will be free of worries, always living the eternal present. Where did your attachment come from, you may ask? Well, it came from a lie that came from your culture, your society, or from yourself, that is, from your programming. Just observe, thousands of people live without that which you suppose to be the owner of your happiness, and if you review your past, you will find something that at a given moment you supposed irreplaceable, and that time showed you that it was not so. Today you don't even remember it. Look how small it were. Change only comes about when you combine knowledge with understanding. Observe that these are the pillars of the altar of wisdom. The key is to deprogram yourself, to let go of your attachments. But what is your programming? Well, it is what you carry inside your brain computer, which was formed by accumulating the data received. Your culture, your ideas, your beliefs, your fears, your attachments, your habits. Here are the names of the walls of your prison. Here are the names of the tangle that filters all the information that reaches you. Analyze them one by one, for the way is not to give up or to put willpower. Do not fight evil. The way is vision. Enlarge the contrary good. Whatever it is, there are other different cultures, there are other people who live perfectly well without it. Therefore, it is not the only one. It is not your culture. That is not the owner of the truth. It's not your ideas either. When you meet someone, you label them. To you, it's nice or nasty or sad or dumb. Well, that's what you will continue to see in that person, because that's the idea you have of that person. You see people not as they are, but according to the idea you have of them. However, other people may have a different idea than the one you have. Therefore, it is not the only infallible or valid one. This applies not only to people, but to all your ideas. Besides, you act as a fanatic closed to everything that may question your beliefs. Are you afraid of fanaticism in others? Well, that's what our false beliefs make us become. Look at the consequences of extreme fanaticisms. They are based on beliefs so deeply rooted that they do not allow other different opinions to enter. And your fears? If you knew you were going to be killed, you couldn't stop thinking about it. This is what your fears do. They fix your mind only on them. And if you have your mind fixed on them, you don't live your life. You cannot be happy. There will be nothing that can make you happy. You will see everything from the darker side. That is not only the worst bondage, but it is the door through which everything negative enters. Energy follows thought. If your thinking is a constant negative, how could beautiful things manifest in your life? If your mind wallows in a maze of dread, that is what you unfortunately attract to you. Then she takes it upon herself to make you see that the bad thing you feared has happened. What she doesn't tell you is that she has created it with her thoughts. The fear makes the perfect combination to bring into manifestation what you fear, as it combines thought, feeling, and word. Close that dark door and open it of love with all your heart, for love is the opposite of fear. Fill yourself with love, and little by little your fears will lose strength. Like a miser guarding his money, you will pretend to see only what endangers your attachments. Remember that they are the reason for suffering. If we ask someone if he likes to suffer, he will surely answer that he does not. And if we already know what the reason for suffering is, let us try not to give power to anything external to us. You have habits, ways that are habitual and logical for you. It is your robot part that serves to perform mechanical acts, but not to judge life. As you see, the world you relate to and love is a world created by your own mind and has very little to do with the real world. Why don't you create with your own mind your world of light? The key is to understand and become aware. Then, everything that enslaves you will be crumbling, will be losing power in you, and your own creativity will replace the mechanical, rigid, and lifeless robot that you were. You will no longer admire a flower because you know it is beautiful, but you will be able to penetrate the essence of all flowers, and you will not see the sea as a fisherman in a mechanical way, but as the beauty and grandeur it offers to your sight. Only to the extent that you are able to see someone as they really are, here and now, not as they are in your memory, in your desire, and in your imagination, only then will you be able to really love that person. Anthony de Mello illustrates this perfectly when he tells us that a Western tourist was gazing in admiration at a native woman's necklace. "What is it made of?" she asked. "Alligator teeth, ma'am," replied the native. "Ah, right. I suppose alligator teeth are as valuable to you as pearls are to us." "Absolutely not," replied the native. "An oyster can be opened by anyone." As you can see, different cultures and locations make different values. So no value that depends on the external is real and absolute. Those who have attained enlightenment understand that a diamond is nothing more than a stone to which the human mind has given value, that kings are as big or as small as your mind decides they are, and that everything has the value you give it. Rediscovering yourself is simply rediscovering the fullness of life that you can achieve if you set out to remove the bars you put on yourself. The new era requires new human beings, and the new human being emerges from the re-encounter with oneself, arises by filling in the abyss that separates you from reality, arises by the appealing force of love, arises by the reintegrative effort in a greater whole. Energy follows thought. That is why those who believe in the wrong things as well as those who believe only in what is limited to their life. Claim for themselves the spiritual prison. Let go.